Hello everyone, welcome to question 8 of placement test series 1. This is Nikesh Agarwal from Sarthi Career. This question is on arrays and functions. There's a very common misconception that we can pass the entire array to the function as an argument. Well, I hate to disclose it to you guys that there is no concept of passing arrays to function. The only thing one can do is send the starting address of the array as an argument, and that's all. This question is going to prove exactly that point. Now if you look here, we have two functions, one is func and the other is main, and we see that we are getting an argument a which looks like an array from the main function, and we are printing the size of array a here, and we're doing the exact same thing in the func. So let's look at the array. So here we see that there are 4 elements in the array, but because we have reserved a size for 10 elements and assuming that it is a 32-bit compiler, so every integer is going to be 4 bytes each. So 10 into 4, and that makes it 40. So this printf is going to go and print 40, whereas this printf is also going to go and print 40, assuming that we can pass the entire arrays to the function. However, what you're going to get here is 4 and not 40. So let's look at this question in more detail. So we know that the execution starts from main, and here we see that there are 10 elements in the array, which is the first 4 elements being 1, 2, 3 and 4, and the rest elements will be filled with 0. Now this is what my array A looks like. The array definition says that the name of the array, so in this case the name of the array is A. The name of the array is a constant pointer which points to the starting element of the array. We know that 1 is the starting element of the array, so A is pointing to 1. Assuming that the array elements begin at address 100, which implies that 1 is stored at location 100, we know that in each integer is going to take 4 bytes, which means the next integer can only begin from 104 because the 4 bytes from 100 is taken for integer 1, and then 4 bytes is taken for integer 2. So the location for 3 would be 108, and so on, incrementing in steps of 4. So we can clearly say that A is nothing but 100. Please note, we just assumed these values, and the real values could be different based on the runtime execution. The next statement says func of A. Now this is an equivalent saying that func of 100, because A is nothing but 100, right? So when a function is called, the control jumps back to the called function, and now we are in, so we will create a stack frame for func, and here we pass 100, and there is a variable A which is receiving the value 100. Now this looks more like an array, right, because of the square braces only without index. However, the compiler substitutes this with an equivalent statement which resembles something like this. We know that this is a definition of a pointer. So int star A indicates that A is a pointer pointing to an integer type data. And you can clearly see that because we are sending address from func, a variable which should be here to receive that address should be a pointer type, and this is exactly that. So this is just an indication that the address which we are the starting address of the array, but the equivalent statement is just like a normal pointer to an integer, and hence when we do size of A here, what we are doing is size of the pointer variable, and since we know that the pointer also occupies 4 bytes for a 32-bit compiler, size of A is going to print nothing but 4, and well, it's going to print func and the other thing size of array, and the output is going to be 4. Now when the function gets over, the stack frame for func is destroyed, and the control goes back to the main function from the place where it was called. So it was called here, and the control goes back to the print statement, and here it is going to print main, and again whatever is there as a part of the string there, %d size of a. Now here a is the array, and because there are 10 elements to this array, which is 4 bytes each for every element, so main is going to print 40. So hence you see that there is no concept of passing arrays to the function. Now this is one of the primary reasons that whenever we are passing the starting address of the array to the function, we also pass along with it one more argument, which happens to be the length of the array. So in this case we need to pass func a comma 10 if there are 10 elements, or 5, whatever it is. This is because the function does not know, or this a is just the starting address of the array, but it has no idea what is the length of the array. It has no information whatsoever. So if you were supposed to maybe calculate the sum of all the elements in this function, you don't know what is the length of the array, and hence you always tend to pass the length along with the starting address of the array, so that you always get to know what is the total array size. If you guys like the video, please do subscribe and share, and please leave comments in the comment box below for any feedback. Thank you.